Hello, this is Mark from I Am Organic, and if you were wondering what I ever did with those portable greenhouses, I had them sitting top of a foot of leaf mold, just leaf mold that's a year old. I planted some tomato plants in there, but unfortunately there was some either gourds or pumpkin seeds in there, and it just took off. We're going to take a closer look. It's beautiful. I'm just going to leave it as is. There's plenty of weeds, but it doesn't matter because everything's still growing and is healthy. I have not watered this or touched it. Basically, I planted 6 tomato plants in each greenhouse. They are trellising themselves. I haven't even touched them. They're onto the side of the greenhouses. So let's take a closer look inside. I'm going to call this greenhouse number 1 because it's closest to my driveway. You can see that we have our 6 tomato plants. There's 3 on each side. I actually planted 2 tomato plants in the middle, and I'm going to be removing one because I wanted to try an experiment about what tomato roots look like down in the middle here and how they grow. Not so much in leaf mold is that if you bury it on its side or deeper, does the whole stem gets roots on it like everybody says. Now, I'm not doubting everybody, but I'm just curious because I've never really looked at it myself, and I don't plant them deep, but this time I decided to do that because there's a lot of people that say planting tomatoes deeper will give you better roots. Now there's a tomato plant there's 2 actually tomato plants in the center row here. I'm going to grab the first one closest to the door, and we're going to pull it out slowly so you can see the roots. Now again, I planted this deep and also on its side. The whole length of the plant was about 1.5 feet long that I stuck in the leaf mold. It went down 1 foot and then across 1 foot, and then I bent it upwards. So we're going to see if the roots came out of the stem, because obviously there's roots on the bottom, and this came out of a 4-inch pot, and I want to see what it looks like. Well, I solved one mystery. You can see here it's gourd because of the little dimples on it. It's white because of the sun. It hasn't really ripened up yet else too. And also, we got tomatoes here. And unfortunately, this is going to be the plant I'm going to rip off. But according to what I see here, the tomato root is right next to the gourd. So I'm going to grab that. So I'm going to grab the tomato root and slowly dig it out. We'll move this out of the way. This is the tomato root right here. Let's just get some of the leaf mold out of the way. And you see it's not soil, it's just leaf mold. And here's the angle that it's on. And this is the root here. Ooh, this is going to be good. So, here's our root. Now, let me bring it out in the sun here. Now you can see this is where it originally was in the pot, here. And it is growing roots all along the stem so far, because it was on an angle. It was more like this in the ground. And it's coming out nicely. And goes to the top where there's more roots. Here you can see the whole size of the tomato plant. I'm going to say it's about 3 feet tall, and you can see the root system on the bottom, and that's how it was planted in the ground. It's not a large root system, but growing in leaf mold, you have a lot of moisture all the time, and it's just early in the season. These plants, again, have only been in the ground for about 27 days. And you can see here how I planted in the ground. The root ball all the way to your right hand side was that in the 4-inch pot. And then also I turned the stem going across about 1 foot and then up a little bit. And now you can see all those little fine roots growing along the stem. Now, it does produce roots on the stem, but the main part of any tomato plant is going to be the roots on the bottom, and where the roots, you can see there's more roots right before it comes out of the ground. That's where it's going to grow a lot of roots. That in-between space, you are going to get some roots, but not a lot. Your main roots are your ones on the bottom, the original roots, and the roots before that stem comes out of the ground, and they spread along the surface as much as they can, looking for nutrients and also water. I took a step over to my portable greenhouse number 2. Now, again, remember these do not have floors on the bottom. The reason I designed them this way is you can grow directly in the ground, and you can move your greenhouse from one spot to another spot depending on your soil type or what you want to grow in there. So you don't need for pots or anything else either too. So you save on that, and also too, you're going to get more nutrients out of the ground than you can ever get out of growing in a pot. Here's a nice side view through our cattle panel. Again, there's 3 tomato plants on each side. We planted them 28 days ago also too, or 27, and doing well. There's a volunteer gourd plant growing in the background, but things are looking very well, and it's amazing how much difference it is when you grow tomato plants in leaf mold. I'm finding out it's a great way to start a garden. And here you can see the greenhouse sitting on top of that leaf mold that's about a foot thick. Now this leaves are about 1.5 years old already. It wasn't from last fall, but it was a year before, and they decompose on their own. And it just makes a great way to start a garden, so save your leaves. They're trellising very nicely, and that's what I want to do. You can see up on top here that I still have the plastic that I put on there from last fall that rolls up and down, and we're going to be using them in the future a lot more. I love them, and again, I just want to give you an update of how things grow in leaf mold and also using this portable greenhouse. I want to thank you for watching, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe. I think I'm going to have a lot of gourds this year from the size of this vine, and it's continued to still to grow. But again, it's magnificent, and I didn't plant the seeds. They grew on their own, and it's always amazing when you don't want something to grow, it grows really well, and then when you want something to grow to make money on it, it sits there and you worry about it. So maybe I can start selling gourds. Who knows? But again, thanks for watching and enjoy your day.